Amplify this.
I do feel like we should show these to Cam though.
Oh yeah.
Let's move our little laps. Oh, I'm not going to close her. I'm nervous about her.
Okay. Well, should we? Hi.
We're looking at our new merch that we're very excited about.
Our gorgeous new merch. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Isn't it? Oh, it's really comfortable. It thick
is
as
super well made.
I said we should consider changing our names to Thick Daddy, and Colin said that's a very different podcast.
And that's a different podcast, and I'm sure there's different, But
the sweatshirt is so thick that's what it made me think.
Yeah.
So that's what matters. I'm
thinking of other things.
We also have T-shirts. So now we will have, when this is out, we will have hats. Then that hat.
I'm wearing a hat.
That has become my comfort hat.
Yeah.
That hat. We will have Mugaloos. We already technically have these things. We've just had a lot of
these hoodies. We have cropped little shirts.
So
if you want some Script Daddy merch,
go and get it. And oh dear God, send us photos and tag us. And oh my God, yes, I do think we should do some potential giveaways. This season.
I'm dizzle down.
Like maybe we do a review thing and then pick someone. I don't know. I'm into.
We better.
But we finally have merch, like for real, and it's going to be able to be. You and I have had hat merch for a sec, but we haven't made it really. It hasn't really been available because we've had some website issues, which now, when you're listening, will be completely resolved.
Yeah, Squarespace, we're looking at you.
Had a little bit of trouble there, but it's all resolved now. Future Us is so relieved that it's resolved.
It is. Welcome to Script Daddy.
Welcome to Script Daddy, Yaddy.
I'm your host, Colin.
I'm your host, Carlie.
And here at Script Daddy, we read scripts, watch movies, and discuss the differences between script and screen.
I always have to do a little shimmy shake.
That's
just what happens.
A little shimmy shake.
Shaky shoe.
Do we just dive in?
Let's just dive in.
Tell the people.
We're coming in strong. We're coming in. Well, actually, we're coming in hot.
Very hot.
We're coming in
steamy
and
sizzling.
Sassy. We are doing Basic Instinct, y'all.
One of my actual all-time favorite movies. I love it, but now it was an interesting experience having to read the script and watch the movie again with new context.
What I have learned about Script Daddy is it'll either make you love what you love even more, or it will make you like what you love less.
Yeah, there's
no in between.
Some deep searching about what is it that I do love about this movie, and I have done some of that searching, and I have some answers.
See, and I'm excited to talk about that because, again, I know we've touched on this before with other episodes, but there is something to be said for the fact that sometimes you just fucking love a movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, the rules of the game don't have to apply because the point of art is to enjoy it. And if you're enjoying it, then that can be as deep as you go in your inquiry. But because this is what we do, it is fun and interesting to kind of dissect it and pick at it and figure out different things. But it is interesting to me how you can objectively feel a certain way.
Yeah, I've kind of figured out, I think, what it is that gets me through it. Some of it's in my little breakdowns and stuff. And yeah, we've both done a lot more research with this one. There's some little tidbits of knowledge I picked up along the way that I'm very excited to talk about.
Me too, because I feel like it's part of what makes this conversation interesting.
Yeah,
because there is stuff to mine about the script in the movie, but it's also a lot of what's around it that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the log line, I did Amazon again this time.
Period. How is
I think I've given up on I Am Deb for now.
Deborah, sorry, Debbie.
Unless you're looking to hire us, I Am Deb. We are maybe we'll see. Okay, the logline is: a police detective plays a seductive game of cat and mouse with a manipulative novelist who is the prime suspect in her rock star boyfriend's murder.
That is a great logline. That is
really good.
That's
logline. That leaves nothing. I don't want to say nothing to the imagination.
It has tone indicated in there. Totally. You kind of get the vibe. That's great.
It is the base of what's happening. There's other things going on around it, but that is the base of what's happening.
Yeah.
It is directed by Paul Verhoeven. It's okay, so a little more research. He also directed Total Recall, Showgirls, Starship Troopers, Hollow Man, RoboCop, Elle, and Black Book. Those are his most known ones. A lot.
Because I've obviously seen his name stuff. I've seen most of his movies.
Without
Have you seen Elle?
I don't think so.
I want to talk about some of his proclivities that seem to be coming through in the stories that he chooses to make.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay. I actually really want to watch Showgirls now, though. I know it did.
Have you never seen Showgirls?
I think I did like so long ago because when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh,
as Trevor would say, it's caviar trash.
I need it though. Like I think I need it.
It is.
I think I need it.
It takes a very disturbing turn towards the end, but it is one of the most wild, insane, terrible, but amazing movies you've ever seen.
We have to.
The craziest sex scene I've literally ever seen in a movie. We have to watch Showgirls.
We might have to watch it this
weekend. We might. Yes. Script Babies, we are recording this just before holiday break.
It's true.
It is the middle of December.
It is Hanukkah right now. Happy Hanukkah,
Hanukkah.
Babies. Wee, wee. My socks. If you're listening, you can't see, but I'm holding up really cute little Hanukkah socks.
Adorbs.
Yeah, it's the holiday season.
And so I think we have to during the break.
Colin and I are so in love. We spend most of the holidays together now.
Yeah, period. Yeah.
Okay. The writer is Joe Esther Haas.
Esther Haas. Yeah.
I wanted to say Haas, like Esther Haas, like Haus, but it's just HAS. He also wrote Showgirls, a thriller called Silver that is also with Sharon Stone.
I actually really want to watch
about
Silver.
A sexy little affair between a book editor and a high-tech voyeur. I was like, it feels.
I want to watch it.
It feels like this sister. Without having seen it, I watched the trailer and I was like, this feels like a sister movie.
I think it came out before Basic Instinct, but
did it? I feel like it was the opposite, but I could be wrong.
No, it's after. Okay, there's one that came out before it that he said is like a spiritual sequel.
Oh, did you know that there was a second Basic Instinct?
I sure did, and I've seen it. When I tell you, I love this movie. I've loved this movie since I was like 15.
I've only seen it once.
My mom,
or this is the second time.
My mom is a huge fan of sexual thrillers, and so
Hi, Terry.
And so she would always be giving me recommendations for this. Like, there's so many great ones. She loves her favorite is Body Heat with Kathleen Turner.
Oh, we have to do that.
We should do all of them. Really Sea of Love is another great one.
Fatal Attraction.
Calm. Fatal Attraction, classic.
Class.
But yeah, no, my mom she recommended all these. So so when the second one came out, I like rushed to the theater to see it, and it is awful.
Oh. He also co-wrote Flashdance, which I thought was...
Isn't that wild?
Why? I literally had to go recheck it 3 times because for some reason my brain was going, even though I don't know why I do that, because I truly think as a screenwriter, like there are so many people that are proof of like how you can go in every genre, every direction, whatever. But for some reason, it still was kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, he loves a sexy film.
Yeah, I guess that is the common denominator, isn't it? It is starring none other than Sharon Stone. Listen,
sorry,
IMDb,
Michael Douglas, love you, but this is Sharon's goddamn movie.
This is, as we've said in the past, pass the ball to Sharon.
Pass the ball to Sharon. She's the reason for the fucking season here.
Let's be real. We wouldn't be sitting here and talking about it if it weren't for her.
Exactly. And aside, like the movie, the things that we'll talk about aside from it, her performance actually is fucking incredible.
It's incredible. It's astounding.
It's like great acting.
You
believe every moment of her and you fucking root for her.
Yeah. It's, there were a lot of I didn't have a ton of page notes for this one.
Same.
But one of the consistent notes was how she made so many scenes more interesting with her performance, despite the fact that the dialogue was almost always the exact same.
Yeah.
But she just brought layers to it that I was like, that's infinitely more interesting than how it read. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I was like very impressed. Sharon Stone, Michael Douglas, George DeZunza, who he plays Gus, and then Jean Triplehorn, who plays Beth.
Also, Jean Triplehorn is so stunningly gorgeous.
She is.
It's like
I thought the same thing.
Worldly beauty.
Also, her hair.
Sharon Stone as well. Like obviously, all
her
women
hair
are
was
gorgeous
also like its own. I was like, it was like thick and bouncy, and I just wanted to like
early '90s perfection. Like with all that cancer-causing chemicals up in it to keep it nice and bouncy, but she's like she's like the precursor. She's the same type of beauty that Anne Hathaway is.
Yes, I see that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Cut from the same cloth.
Beth's character drove me nuts in the script, and I felt like once again, I think Jean did as much as a person could do with her character.
Yes.
Even then, it was still a little frustrating, but
that I see that I'm like, again, never fully clocked this, and I've watched this movie countless times.
Question. try to delete having read the script and all this for a second. When you think about how much you've loved this film, what is the main like feeling you come back to? Like the suspense of it, that like what is the thing that's always drawn you to it?
Here's what, because I was doing some soul searching just the other night about this, because I was like, you'll see Script Babies when we get into our notes and our scores. Interesting. What I've kind of come to is that it's the entire vibe.
Yeah, okay.
Of it. Mainly,
and it is a vibe.
Mainly the score.
Yeah, the score?
The score is one of my all-time favorite cinematic scores. Whenever it rains in LA, this is not a joke.
Oh, wait. I might have to steal this from you.
Whenever it rains in LA and I have to drive around, I always drive around in the rain to the Basic Instinct score.
I might have to do this now.
It's
an incredible score.
Gorgeous noir score that's like sultry and alluring, but also like has a little, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm like back in the like 1940s. I'm driving through
It
LA.
elevates the material times 1,000.
It really I say this in my movie thing, but like it's like a character of its own, and it really indicates
it is a character of its own.
Indicates a lot of the things you're supposed to feel on the screen.
Fully. Yep.
The score heightens it and hones it and dials it in. What I've come to is that the combination of the score and me just always rooting for Catherine, Sharon Stone's character.
Interesting.
She's supposed to be this femme fatale cautionary tale to men. And especially in the time period, I mean, there's different layers to that you could look at with, like, you know, a woman who's sexually, in charge and is bisexual is a danger to men. Watch out. It'll cut your dick off. I love her character. I love her performance. And I just want to, like, wrap myself up in the world that it has.
That.
Even though there's so many problematic things to this movie.
Yes.
But particularly what I've come to, it's the score.
This score
really brings it through, and the cinematography stuff. It's a delicious.
It is one of those things where, like,
it's so fun.
It is where it feels like the gap between the script and the film is so interesting, because it is one of those where, like, the score and the way it's shot, gave it legitimacy that it didn't really have on its own. I'm giving away how do I feel, I guess.
Completely agree, and so the thing about Sharon Stone's character is that the whole time they're showing you, she did it, she's the killer, she's fucking telling them essentially, I'm the killer the whole time. And I still always want her to get away with it. And I'm always happy when I see that ice pick under the bed at the end. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm sorry, feminist icon, get it. Kill those men. Kill them all, Sharon. You're smarter than them. You can fucking think circles around them and get away with it, bitch. I
love that. I did not. I loved her, and I felt like I could have watched her for 2 more hours because I felt like she was so embodied in that character that I believed her, and I rooted for her in the sense of, like, if anyone's gonna win here, I want it to be you. Mm-hmm. But I did feel like the only, like, one of the things that when I was thinking about it over the last few days, I was like, one of the things I felt like was missing from this a little bit for me was that I didn't actually care about anybody. Like, I thought she was fun, but I didn't. If she would have gotten killed, I would have felt nothing. Like, truly.
Agreed.
And now again, that's okay. Not all movies, you don't have to be in. It's not. But by the way, I don't even need to be, like, in love with them. It was more just like, I realized I thought she was so fun, but that I didn't ultimately care what happened to her. And that bummed me out a little bit. Yeah. But good God, her performance.
Yeah.
And every scene she was in. Whenever she wasn't in the scene, I was like,
agreed. She carries the movie on her back. I love the movie. I love her character, but same. Even all that aside, and all the times I've watched this and will continue to watch this, I don't really care about any of the characers. And every time they die, I'm like, Catherine's a little half-baked in certain ways. Mm-hmm. But
because I think they could have done. She says what she means when she says to him, I'm never going to tell you something I don't want to. Yeah. She never does. Because even when she shares about Beth, she's being calculated. She knows what she's doing. That she's trying to perform to him, I'm sharing this vulnerable thing with you, but she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
That you realize she is never truly vulnerable with him. She's not. Like, she's just not.
She plans on killing him.
Yeah. Right. And
she loves the cat and mouse.
But I think the half-bakedness is, it would be interesting if we would have seen a moment of her, even with someone else, where we got to see a tiny peek behind the curtain. Because even people who are that, like, full force, whatever you want to call her, still have moments of vulnerability. She's still a person.
Okay, you kind of see it with Rocky. After Rocky dies, but is she just manipulating Is she just manipulating him?
It's the closest we get to seeing her care about something. But
even in the script, it says that she's clearly been crying for hours. And then when you see her in the movie, it does look like she looks like she's been up all night.
Truly, and but I think because at that point, I've learned to not trust anything she does.
Yeah.
And it felt so much like her relationship to Roxy.
Oh, Roxy. Yeah.
Well,
he calls her Rocky because
he's a fucking dick.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason that didn't get me, that should have done something for me, but I never believed she actually cared for Roxy. I thought it was all transactional.
Yeah.
Or she cared for her, but only in a way that it made her feel good.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. And she even kind of says that where she, like later on when he's like, we're getting so hard.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even get to the cinematography.
But when she's like, sometimes I get involved with people that I do research with, just like it happened with you. Like she does, these people are just like,
you don't get the sense that she's like in love or like deeply loves Roxy at all. It's more just like, this is a person who's obsessed with me. And Catherine clearly loves people who are obsessed with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most consistent thing about her.
And then you have Beth and it's like, have you ever met a woman at all, Joe? Mr. Esterhaus, paging Mr. Esterhaus, have you ever met a woman?
Okay, cinematography is Jan de Bont. So he has a really cool resume where he is like 50-50 between what he's directed and what he's shot as a cinematographer, which I loved. He directed Speed.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. And he produced Minority Report. He produces a lot too. Produced Minority, like cool
OG
career.
Season 1, baby.
If you know,
the real script babies will know.
If you know, you know. Are you ready for this? I was
ready.
like, we have to do this movie.
Give it to me.
Guess what he produced?
What?
The Haunting. One of my favorite scary movies of all time. Sierra and I, that movie was crack to us growing up. We were like,
I know so many people who loved it. I
don't think it would hold up for me anymore, but when we were younger, it was the perfect amount of scary for me. It wasn't.
That's the one where the guy gets beheaded by the thing that swings down from the
I think so. It's
right?
like all the people have to stay in there. It's Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah,
is
it's based
amazing
on
in it.
House on Haunted Hill, I think. A movie from, I think, the 50s or something.
Okay. Sierra and I were one of my favorite things is the wood carvings in the bed, the little children, and then they start moving, and you're like, wow. Like again, I think I watched it like 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, I don't quite. The nostalgia was there.
Love a movie like that, yeah. Exactly.
But my sister and I were just like, it was the perfect amount of scary for us. But I literally like screamed, and also Catherine Zeta-Jones is so fucking good.
One of the all-time great actors. We gotta do some Catherine movies.
I know.
Gotta. Have you ever seen Entrapment?
No.
That is.
Okay,
might be my absolute, other than Chicago, might be my favorite Catherine Zeta-Jones movie.
We might have to rearrange.
It's like action. Not this season, it's for a different season. But anyway.
But then he did cinematography on Twister. So like cool fucking career.
I'm very into this.
Yeah, I was like.
Directing Speed. Another great bad movie. So fun. I love that movie. And Speed 2 Cruise Control. Are you kidding me?
Beep, beep. The budget was $49 million and it grossed $352 million worldwide.
I know that's right.
I know.
And that's the thing, even with all, spoiler alert, with all the issues that you're going to hear us talk about, that's the other thing that I find fascinating. When the movie's up in there, during the time that it came out, there was a lot of pushback and a lot of people who didn't like the movie as well and who saw the faults for it. But it's always interesting to me that when a movie that, especially on the page, is pretty mediocre, has a lot of holes in it, half-baked characters.
Yeah.
You can't say that it's bad storytelling, though, because it connects with so many people and was such a hit. I love it to this day, even though I can look at it now and be like, story's not great. But isn't that weird?
It is weird.
It's so fascinating to me.
It's endlessly fascinating. I think it's why, though, like I think the reason like you and I ever even first off have an obsession with storytelling the way that we do, but then even wanted to do this is because it's equally as interesting to see a movie that is not written particularly well and a movie that does have a lot of holes, a lot of issues, a lot of whatever that you still love. Like that is interesting to look at, but it's like what we're looking at is the more common thing, which is like, let's look into something that really hits for all the right reasons and why. Yeah. But it is interesting to go like, oh, and there's things that just none of it applies and you just fucking like it.
Yeah.
Period.
I think it's like, because there's a difference where it's like a film and a story is great because of the storytelling, like Hamnet.
Yes.
We saw Hamnet a couple weeks ago, Script Babies.
We haven't been able to stop talking about it.
Literally,
we're thinking about doing like a little mini episode because I think we have to because we haven't been able to stop talking about it.
It is storytelling at
its peak.
level.
Yeah.
It is incredible. Acting at its peak. It's everything that has come together.
Jessie Buckley.
Are you kidding me?
She's not from this. She's not from this planet. She can't be.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
And everything we've been sending, because our TikTok algorithms very quickly realized that we loved this film.
Yeah.
And we've been sending each other stuff where it's like everything we've learned about production and like the preparation that went into every aspect of it. Yeah. You feel how thoughtful it was.
You really do.
But then like learning specifically where they were thoughtful and how they did it and all that stuff just makes you fall even more in love with it.
It's incredible. So then you have stories like that's like like the storytelling, the core of this.
We're dying to read the script, by the way. Drop that script, Chloe.
But drop it. Is incredible. But then you have movies like this where it's like the storytelling is like the vibe of the story.
Yes.
Where it's like
a vibe.
It brings you in. Like I love like the mystery of it. I love like knowing but not knowing that Catherine did it, wondering, get the red herrings and stuff. I love a neo-noir. I love a noir in general, but I love an 80s and 90s neo-noir because I like that kind of gumshoe, rough around the edges feeling to it, where they're kind of stringing you along with exposition. And it's a movie that is kind of like candy. Where it's not going to sustain you. It's not going to nourish you. Well, in different ways.
Yeah.
Candy nourishes your soul in different ways. But like, it's going to be a fun thing that you can keep coming back to and is always
and that you can
delicious.
Move on from quickly.
Exactly.
Whereas like Hamnet like lingered for like a while.
Yeah.
But again, you know what's funny is like really fast about Hamnet is that it lingered for a while, but I also have the weird feeling to like, I made a silly little video about like me before Hamnet and me after, and it like popped off because it was like me smiling in like a cute little fit beforehand, and then after just like crying in the car, and John Mayer's what's the heartbreak song? Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is on, and it's funny, whatever. It like popped off, and then people were like, I'm scared to see this, I'm scared to see this. Or people being like, I bawled so hard, I slipped off my chair. And I was like, it's interesting because it almost feels like people like, it made me go like, are people so desperate to feel things right now and also scared? Because it feels like all the critique is people calling it like emotionally manipulative, which is quite the most insane thing I've ever heard, because storytelling is the whole point is to pull the string so that you feel things. And okay. But then the people that are like, I need to feel something, I'm going. Like I was like, oh, how we're just in a very interesting moment right now where it's worth seeing no matter what. But I also responded to people, I'm like, you shouldn't be scared to see it. It's not like you won't recover. It's just, I found it cathartic. I felt like, given the circumstance of what the film is, I actually felt closure at the end. I didn't feel completely ruined. I actually felt like
I thought it was a gorgeous
film that you leave feeling your heart aches, but you also feel a sense of beauty, which is why I think it's so powerful.
And completion too.
Yes,
it's the whole movie leads up to that moment.
Yeah,
and then it fucking delivers.
It delivers 100%. Okay,
it's great. Okay, let's do it.
Should I do trivia really fast?
Yeah, let's do some
trivs.
Real
quick trivia.
I have a little trivs too if it's not in there.
A reboot is in the works at Amazon with
I
know with the original. Wait, I didn't want that. With the original screenwriter, which I thought.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, the script sold for a record $3 million. Now we need to clarify right now. This was back in the day where you could make $3 million for like a spec, whatever.
Which was the highest script sell to that point.
Which again, not to say you could never, but I'm just saying like let it be clear. It was a very different day and age.
Yeah,
very different thing going on, because there is a part of me that I'm like, how in the fuck? How in the frick?
It's because he had a really big hit earlier a few years before with Jagged Edge, and then his success with Flashdance and then Jagged Edge were both really big hits, obviously. And so then people were hungry for his shit.
And also it said a script that took him just 13 days to write. And my next thought was,
When I saw that too, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
We can leave that part out, maybe. Catherine and Nick were based on real people. I love this script, babies. This is what we talk about all the time. Like, take nugs from your life, whether it's a person you watched cross the street or someone you went to college with, or it doesn't write what you know, and then turn it into whatever you want. Like, clearly he turned this into something completely different, but he was saying, he was a police reporter for Cleveland's The Plain Dealer. I met a cop who just liked the action too much. He was always in the middle of shootings. He was a great cop on one level, but on another, you suspected that he really liked it too much.
Ooh.
That's what Nick does in Basic Instinct. As Catherine says in the movie, he got too close to the flame and he loved the flame. So again, I was like, what a gorgeous, when you allow that creative channel in and you can take a little details like that. And then, and then he said, Catherine comes from a person that he knew in Ohio. This time it was a go-go dancer in Dayton. One night he picked the stranger up and they went back to his hotel room to have some fun. Okay. She reached into her purse and pulled out a .22 and pointed at me, he told Nerve. She said, give me one reason why I shouldn't pull this trigger. I said, I didn't do anything to hurt you. You wanted to come here, and as far as I know, you enjoyed what we just did. She said, but this is all guys have ever wanted to do with me, and I'm tired of it. We had a long, lengthy discussion before she put the gun down. Those two random characters are where those parts of Basic Instinct come from. Isn't that now? Granted, that's a pretty like gnarly thing to happen to you. But
my mouth has been open for the past like 20 seconds.
I know. I was like, and that's going in the trigger.
That is insane.
But also, what I will give him credit for is what his brain did with that is pretty.
It is pretty fun.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense why he is using like female sexuality as a cautionary tale in this, because having gone through that,
I'm
problematic nature
eyes.
of that aside, especially from today's lens.
Okay, so 42 seconds were cut to bring the film from NC-17 to an R rating.
Yeah. What
drove me nuts about this was that the main thing that was cut, I was thinking it was going to be something nuts because the sex scenes are pretty.
The Beth rape scene, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started on that.
Which
we'll get
was
there,
part of the 42 seconds that was cut. The original theatrical version, she says she kind of protests a little bit, but there's no verbal no's. Anyway,
Nick giving Catherine oral sex.
Yeah.
What was cut in the theatrical release to make it R, and which shows that the NPAA is deeply infected by patriarchal beliefs. They kept Catherine giving Nick oral sex.
Oh, they sure did.
And by the way, they kept her flashing her vagina. They kept that. They kept her vagina, but they took out Nick's face near her crotch and her responding with pleasure. That was too fucking much for this movie.
Because how dare she?
It's
crazy.
Spiraled. I know that that's how this stuff is, but I spiraled, and it added to the complexity of all of the mess that's around this film, because as much as I think there's a lot of like chauvinistic male barf around some of this storytelling, that being said, the fact that that was not the director's wish or the writer's wish or the actor's wish, the fact that it just showed the layers of misogyny that goes on.
Yeah.
That like even the writer and the director, who had their own views in ways that we will dissect, but that they weren't even the ones. They wanted that. Now, granted, the versions we watched, that is in that.
That isn't that. Yeah, pretty much the only version you can get these days on streaming is the director's cut, which was released afterwards. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
Rita Kempley, who was a feminist icon at the Washington Post, said, "What do you think of this?" She said, "Catherine at heart was a man's id dressed up like a woman." First off, I liked that sentence, but then it goes into a direction I don't like.
Yeah. I've heard this
Yes,
quote.
This sleekly made skin flick is an extended Hustler magazine fantasy whose heroine isn't a little butch. She's metaphorically male. The she thing, which made me gag. The she thing at the heart of this pulp romp isn't a woman, but a drag queen. Nothing against drag queens. She had me with the first sentence, where I do think there's a lot there. On one hand, I'm obsessed with how forwardly sexual Catherine is and how much she has authority over her sexuality, and she doesn't give a fuck what you think about it.
Yeah.
Neither in the label of what she is or any of it. She just is who she is. But on the other hand, there are aspects of the women in this script that do feel very much made from the psyche of a man.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like that part I was like, oh, that is interesting to say like Catherine at heart was a man's dressed up like a woman. I was like, yeah. But then the rest I was like, ew.
But then you start to lean a little bit anti-trans and 100%.
And also
anti-women being sexually empowered.
Yes.
And to be able to do whatever
and it felt like that was getting lost a little bit in some of the protests and the anger that people had was that it's also that you're like, there is a choice to see this a slightly different way as well. We had not yet seen a woman have such authority and comfort in her sexuality in a way that I found to be so fun to watch and so whatever that I was like, I just thought that, oh my God,
the
I was
response
like,
from women for it was very interesting too. Like certain people really praising it and like showing a woman being so in control of herself, even if it is to, maniacal ends at the end of the day. But then there's the other people who think it's completely exploitative and stuff like, and like there are elements of it that are undeniably exploitative, but it's very fascinating.
Very fascinating. The last thing I was going to mention, but we can push it if you want, is the leg crossing.
No, let's talk because it's fascinating.
It's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
So there's a lot of he said, she said about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to believe Sharon Stone's version.
I absolutely believe Sharon Stone's version.
She has gone on the record for saying in her book that she wrote that when they were filming, the director told her that her underwear was like shining a certain light, and
it was she's wearing white underwear. It was reflecting light, and they didn't want and you could see it in the camera.
Which I'm like,
but that they wouldn't see her vagina, so they said, take it off. We won't.
But it was going to be insinuated, so that was why she still did what she did. Whatever. And that she didn't know you could actually see her vagina until she was screened that version in front of agents
and fucking audience
and an audience.
The fuck?
Yeah, not private, not whatever. No. And she flipped out, lost her mind, went crazy. And her lawyer was like, absolutely, they can pull that. They should pull that. She was like ready to fucking go.
Yeah.
But then she said she had like a moment where she thought about it because she's like, I had every right to, essentially, which she did.
Yeah.
But she kind of had like this zoom out moment where she was like, if I take myself out of this and I look at it from a director's standpoint, it does make sense for the character and it does make sense for the story.
Yeah.
And so she ultimately did give him permission to use it and decided to just say like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And
he says that she fully knew that was what was happening. He also says that she was throwing herself at him during production. That
my eyes are
wanted to sleep with him.
So
and she says that was not the case at all. And I'm going to believe Sharon.
I'm going to believe Sharon as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also what's so silly, the other reason why I don't believe that she the reason I believe her is because when you listen to clips of her reading her book, she is owning the fuck out of her sexuality. Not even Catherine's. She is like so like comfortable with her sexuality that if she went into that scene knowing she was going to flash her vagina, I think she would have been like, you're goddamn right. I knew what I was doing. Do you know what I'm saying? That
I would have loved if she was in on it because that from an empowerment standpoint would be actually so fucking cool if she had made that decision and like if she was in on it, you know?
100%.
But who knows if she would have done it? How do you not manipulate it? But it's also
do I think the movie would have been just as good without it? Yes, it's just shocking.
I think it'd be fine.
It's just shocking, and it shows you like
it shows Catherine's character and the lengths that she's willing to go through to manipulate.
Yes,
and it's also like it's a good plant and payoff because we see her, slipping on her dress in the house beforehand, no panties, and then that happens in the interrogation scene. Then when they're driving home, she said he's like I don't know you, whatever. She's like, well, he's like, oh, you know a lot about me. And she's like, well, you know a lot about me. I don't like to wear any underwear. And I love that. I love how Catherine is always fucking with him. I
always
fucking love it. And that's
always. It is cat and mouse, but it's also like a cat playing with a toy. It's like beep, 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 beep. Like,
and he thinks that he's the cat in the situation too. It's like, no, baby, you're the mouse.
Okay,
playing with the mousetrap.
Is your script school?
I have one more tiny piece.
Go.
Then we will get into go. So the script. So there was a lot of protests from LGBT.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Activists for.
I have a note that I wanted to ask you about
this. And so at one point they were considering change. Like the studio was pressuring Verhoeven to change the script, and Esther Haas was on board with changing the script, and his fix for the more non-PC parts of like how queer people are portrayed in this movie, which as a queer person, I can understand the gripes for the film like this that doesn't really have much to say. I think it's like we're kind of beating.
I was going to ask you, do you think it's a homophobic film?
In ways, yeah.
Okay.
Especially given the time period and the way that bisexual people and lesbians are portrayed. It carries on the stigma of queer people being portrayed as lascivious, evil people that has been throughout cinematic history. So yes, I do, but there's also a level of, from a very modern standpoint, of kind of agency that it gives their characters.
Yeah.
To be, for Catherine to be, because that's the other thing. Yes, their characters kind of portrayed a little bit homophobically, but also on the flip side of it, they're never demonized for being gay. Never once is someone like, oh, weird about it. It's just, and it's never, they don't ever have to explain. They never say one of them is a lesbian. They never say one of them is bi.
Yeah.
It's just they are.
It's very accepted. It's very accepted in the world.
She kisses her. Exactly. It just, this is.
I was waiting for Nick to say something. I was waiting for Nick to say something. Granted, yes, he calls her Rocky, but in the scheme of things, I was waiting for him to say something like really gross and vile.
But he
doesn't. And I will say that is one thing that felt, maybe one of the only things that felt mildly progressive, was that in this world, no one gives a fuck about someone's sexuality.
Yeah. And that's
so
where,
it's a weird duality.
I can see what the uproar was about. Especially given the time period, whatever, I already said that. But so Esther Haas, his fix for it was that whenever something kind of non-PC came through, he was going to have Nick, Michael Douglas's character, say something like more politically correct right after that to kind of undercut those moments. And Verhoeven was like, absolutely not. No, that ruins the whole point of the film, and it would ruin the vibe of the film. Like this, it's a salacious movie, and like there's problematic things. There is a full fucking rape scene in it that is awful and insane.
It is so hard to read and even harder to watch.
That it's vile. I'm sorry, it's disgusting that it was even written.
It's vile.
It's weird. Verhoeven said it was to show that Nick's character can go too far with things.
But also what I hated was it showed that he can go too far with things, and that he was being and I quote, bad guy in that moment. And the thing, I will die on this hill. I have said this to so many different dudes. It is too easy for men to say about other men who commit horrific sexual crimes, bad guy in that moment. No, like you're a bad fucking guy.
Person.
Like if you're gonna rape someone, this isn't like you were having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. One strike rule. You did it, you're bad, you're a rapist. Thank you. The
movie does kind of make you feel a little bit like, well, she just wasn't up to his appetite. It's kind of the vibe that you get, and you're like,
later on is like she's completely fine with it.
Totally fine with it.
I'm a big girl, I can handle it. When she says, because he says some nasty things to her.
But you know what's weird is in the script, I actually liked that moment because it felt different than in the movie. In the movie, it felt like she was insinuating, I'm a big girl, I can handle like what the vibe was. But in the script, he says to her, like, maybe you could give a little bit more next time.
Yeah.
And it's something about the script, she had different agency where it's like she finally looked at him and was like, I'm a big girl, like I can handle what you think is how I interpret it. But then later on, I was like, I think I'm projecting a lot onto her one. I wanted Beth so desperately to fucking stop being a wet blanket.
But she's just a vehicle.
Yeah, yes.
But so anyway, Verhoeven didn't want to do that. And he and Esther Haas had some differing opinions about how the story should go forward. And so it ultimately led to Esther Haas leaving the production. Him and a producer left the production. And then Verhoeven brought on another writer who wrote, he didn't at that point want me ghostwriting anyway. He wrote 4 other drafts of it that got progressively worse to the point where the 5th draft, which is probably the one that we read, was where they went back to Esther Haas's original script, changed a few different things.
That would make sense where there's so many grammatical issues.
Yeah, they changed a few things, but like that's why Esther Haas is the writer on the project, because they used like only like 3 or 4 different changes that the new writer did. Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your script score?
Again, went back and forth with this.
Always. I think our new merch should be I went back and forth.
I went back and forth with this. Where I landed, I feel very good about.
Okay. I don't know.
7.8 out of 10, which is still a little bit high.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
7.8.
Okay.
A little bit high.
Okay.
This is what I wrote.
Okay. Give it to me.
I said, the script is one long stream of exposition, and yet I couldn't get enough. Every scene provides new information that pushes the story forward, opening and closing information gaps seamlessly through visuals and dialogue. It's well crafted and the pace really keeps the narrative moving. The writer strings your curiosity along by showing you different character traits and quirks that continually heighten intrigue. Like on page 18, when we see the newspaper on Catherine's coffee table, revealing that Nick was acquitted for shooting 2 tourists, which immediately closes the information gap of why he's required to see Beth, the police psychologist, while simultaneously opening a new information gap concerning his ability to stay out of trouble now that he's in Catherine's orbit. Throughout the story, the exposition builds and builds upon itself, providing red herrings, dramatic irony, and blistering sexuality that serves to elevate the intrigue even higher. While the film does have some weak points, such as Beth's lack of consistent character choices, she kind of fits in wherever the story needs her to, a lead man that's almost entirely unlikable, and some sexual politics that are detrimental no matter what time period you're in, I'm personally willing to overlook its shortcomings due to the sheer fun I had while reading it. There's a heavy dose of
blistering sexuality. Okay, bitch.
You know, there's a heavy dose of bias in this because I love the film.
But that's
okay. So reading in the script, it's almost verbatim what you see on screen.
Yes.
Very few changes are made, which is also kind of a testament to the script.
Other than I do think the score and cinematographer did some heavy lifting.
Yeah, it would actually be way cheap. The score, Sharon's performance, and the cinematography lift it to new heights.
I think that's a fully fair assessment.
It's still a little bit praising, but I will say,
but you love it. You should praise it.
I do love it, but from a writer's standpoint,
yeah,
it's not a great story. It's a captivating story because I love it and I already knew it so much. But had I not had the movie for a frame of reference while reading it, I would read this like to give notes on it and be like, we got some work to do.
But there is something innately interesting about it. And so, okay, so for me, I did a 6.8, which is a little harsh. But I don't have any bias around it. I remember when I saw it, I was like, damn, a long time ago. I think damn was my main takeaway. Just across the board was just like, damn. And then this time I was like, I just kind of was like, okay, when I read it. I was really annoyed by how many grammatical issues there were. I mean, it was like we had action in dialogue. We had Rex was used at one point about Roxy. I was like, hello?
Yeah.
But also I just felt like it lacked a lot for me. Like I just was like, oh, also, this isn't necessarily totally the script's fault. This is just like would be any screenwriter's issue. There are so many like kind of benign characters in this film of like different agents and police officers and whatever that like it muddles the script to the point where you're like, who the fuck is who is
Talcott?
this?
Why do we need Talcott?
Who are you? There's
like so much time with Talcott.
There's like 3 dudes that they could have just turned it into one person and then they overdid Nilsson. I still don't to this day understand the relevance of Nilsson. What was he getting at the whole time?
So Nilsson is a vehicle for Beth to be a vehicle for the intrigue,
which I hate. But I hate it because it's like it's like a dead end.
Really lazy.
Like they're like, well, someone else was here a year ago looking into, and you're like, well, how is that actually relevant to Catherine? Like,
literally, it's like okay.
But what the main thing I said,
it also shows that Catherine has been playing this longer game.
I guess, but I said the one thing that I really love about the script is that you have a sense of being hunted from the start. I felt, even when reading it, I did feel like this, like almost like a ticking clock, which I liked. I was like, there is a sense, urgency might be a slightly strong word and not, like, I really mean hunted. Like you feel like someone's watching you and like you only have so much time before you need to figure it out. Like that I really liked about it and I thought was actually quite unique and consistent throughout the whole thing. There's also, I haven't been able to like totally nail this, but there's like an elusive energy between Catherine and Nick that almost feels like one soul split. It feels like they've like, and they kind of flirt with it a little bit that there's like this weird thing that she awakens in him which again, like once he meets her, then he goes and has really fucked up sex with, he rapes Beth. But like, it goes further than that. It's like, it really literally feels like two sides of the same coin. Like
I
they
have
are
observations on that too. Yeah.
that if a different writer did it, I think there could have been a slightly even more like cool layer that they went into where it shows that there's like a weird like soul thing going on here where like neither of them are good people, but they are literally from the same thing.
They're the same breed.
They're the same breed.
Yeah, and she curates, people around her who are of that same ilk.
Yeah, and like they have this like invisible string that connects them in an exhilarating way, but also in a claustrophobic way. There's often when they're around each other, I would almost be like any scene Sharon Stone was in I wanted to watch, but there were moments between them that I felt claustrophobic, but then others that felt very exhilarating, like where you're like, they did have chemistry. They absolutely did. And they both were quoted for saying that they didn't totally feel comfortable around each other, which is I don't think they had like the best chemistry in the world, but they also didn't not have chemistry. Like it worked enough for you to believe the story, which I will give them.
And it also works in the sense that okay, we're supposed to ultimately think that Catherine does love him, especially given the end that she doesn't kill him. But like this idea that she, for a while, for most of the movie, she's toying him along. She's 5 steps ahead of him, and she's like loving this kind of thing of, I know you're gonna die, but you don't, and you're so into me, and I'm having fun with this. I'm gonna play with my food.
100%. What was your movie score? This is going to be our widest gap, I think.
My movie score is 8.7 out of 10. Because I love this movie.
Good for you. Own it, babe.
Really
Own it.
High.
I love.
I said I truly love this movie, but after taking the time to watch it and be absolutely objective about it, I see that there are some pretty glaring rough edges. Overall, I find the narrative captivating and engaging, but the storytelling is undeniably sloppy. Beth's character in particular really only comes off as a vehicle for Nick's journey from page to screen. However, her ever-changing attitude and behavior is However, her ever-changing attitude and behavior is a bit whiplashy to witness brought to life. I also found myself questioning Nick's character more than I ever have, vacillating between whether or not I think he truly believed Catherine is a killer or not. But all that aside, Nick as a character is almost entirely unlikable. For the reason, the point. I fucked up this thing. We'll edit this little part out. The movie is and has always been Catherine's. Sharon Stone ate this role up, and now over 30 years later, she still holds up as one of cinema's all-time great femme fatales. Overall, the movie is fun and full of energy. Jerry Goldsmith's score is like a character of its own and is arguably my favorite part. Without the score, this film wouldn't have nearly as high a rating as I gave it.
Fair. Fair.
Yeah.
Yes, God. Mine is a 7.2.
Okay.
That's how I was.
That's a pretty honest, just what
it
this
was one
movie
of those things
is.
where I enjoyed it, but didn't really think about it much after. In fact, the things that I thought about after were that I felt like the movie was trying so hard to be smart. And in some ways it was. I will say the thing I was most impressed with from a writing standpoint was the way that they offered up exposition. That actually...
Catherine's dialogue is delicious.
Catherine's dialogue is absolutely delicious.
I love the way her character is
absolutely. You know what? Fair. I would say if you were to read this script babies, I would focus a lot on how they find pretty fucking organic, believable ways to reveal exposition in a way that makes sense for the story and allows you. They really did a good job of sparing you a lot of dialogue dumps, and instead it would be a lot of visual cues, like you said, with like him finding the newspaper with his name, and then like later on when he sees the book done and it says shooter, and then it had they really did a very good job of that. Like I continuously was like, damn, that was a really good way to do it. Damn, that was a really good way to do exposition. So that I would say if you're going to read it, I would definitely focus on that and her dialogue. She does lift off the page 100%. Sharon Stone gave it a whole other life. Truly. But she is a fucking fun character on the page and on the screen without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I literally, same thing. I was like, the movie, the way it was shot and the soundtrack made me go like, oh yeah, this is a better movie. This is just a better movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of comparisons with this movie to Vertigo. And Verhoeven has even said Vertigo is like one of his all-time favorite movies. He knows that movie shot for shot, whatever. And so I haven't seen Vertigo in, oh my God, at least over 15 years. It's been a long time. And I rewatched it, and oh my God, even the score is similar.
Oh, really?
I actually would love to do a Hitchcock film because
yes, God,
I like Hitchcock, but sometimes his movies, like Vertigo, is like fun, but it's also just kind of like, I know this is a beloved movie.
I was gonna say you gonna piss off.
I'm gonna piss off some people. But
this is just Colin's opinion.
Just my opinion. The story is kind of like maybe it went over my head. Maybe I need to do some more research about what Vertigo is really about.
Fair,
but it's just kind of like, I don't know.
It didn't hit for you.
That movies, when you go back to different time periods, it's interesting to see how today's storytelling is so much more highbrow in a lot of ways. There are great movies from every era.
Absolutely.
But it's interesting to see, especially like with this. Would this script get made right now?
I feel like
if it did, it would probably be a fucking Tubi exclusive.
For sure. For sure.
Would be filmed on an iPhone or worse.
Although I did it when I was listening to something, they were like, didn't win any Oscars. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. It was nominated for 2 Oscars though. Which I think was score and cinematography, I think.
Well, I guess if they were going to be nominated for even though Sharon Stone, I mean, to be fair, her performance was pretty
Sharon's performance is great. It is great.
Let's do page notes. I loved Gus Morin's frickin' description. Gus Morin is 64, crew cut, silver beard, a suit rumpled and shiny, a hat out of the 50s, a face worn and ruined, the face of a backwoods philosopher. Backwoods philosopher.
I love it. I wrote Nick's down too as well. That was my first note. Nick's is Nick Curran is 42, trim, good looking, a nice suit, a face urban, edged, shadowed.
Gorge. That was this.
The grammar's a little odd.
The grammar is off in what I just read too.
From that into Gus's, and I mean Gus's is stunning.
But like even then on page 2, it says like interior of the brownstone. There's money here. Deco, clean, hip. That looks like a Picasso on the wall. They check it out. I love that looks like a Picasso on the wall. I
loved that in the action.
Obsessed with it.
It's like we've talked about in other things, those little ways that you can break the fourth wall for the reader.
And by the way, guys, we've also said this, less is fucking more. That is that's technically 2 sentences. 2 sentences.
Very small.
But the impact, I gasped. I literally clung to, I was like, that looks like a Picasso on the wall.
Love.
But it also tells you everything you need.
Yeah.
There's money here. Okay. I got a little vibe and a visual. Deco. Okay. More of a visual. Clean. Okay. Hip. That looks like a Picasso on the wall. What more could you need?
Yeah, truly. And I love that the film jumps right the fuck in. You are immediately into it. You have the sex scene, murder scene. Then they're there investigating it. And then by page 7, we are meeting Catherine. You are off to the goddamn races.
Beep, boop, beep, boop.
It's great. And especially with a story like this, where so much the entire story engine is the intrigue of the whodunit, 100% of it all.
100%.
You gotta just get right off to the races with
it. Absolutely, and it does.
I literally only have 9 page notes. So.
What's your next one?
Page 4.
Go ahead.
It's a line of dialogue from Nick, and I love it in the movie. This has always been one of my favorite lines of dialogue from the movie. So it's there in Johnny Boz is the guy who gets murdered in the beginning while he's having sex with his girlfriend. And the cops are going through and seeing all the different stuff. And one of the lieutenants goes, he was a retired rock star. And then the other one goes, a civic-minded, very respected rock and roll star. Gus says, what's that over there? And it says, we see the white powder laid out in lines on a small mirror on the side table. Nick, deadpan. It looks like some civil-minded, very respectable cocaine to me, Gus. I love that. That's another thing that I noted about this is that this film and the script is always playing with mirroring and echoing. Always. Just like, and that's the first time we really see it is like, oh, he's a civic-minded, very well-respected. Oh, well, it looks like civic-minded, very well-respected cocaine. And that's out throughout the whole shot thing. For shot, dialogue for dialogue, setup for set. It's an interesting kind of it's an interesting way to play with the exposition, because I think that while not every time they do it, does it do this, but a lot of times it does serve to build in that dramatic irony that makes it more engaging for the reader and the watcher.
Absolutely.
And it's fun, especially to see when you see how Catherine's affect is imprinting upon Nick and bringing out these darker sides of his shadow self. The mirroring there, especially like with like, what are you going to do? Charge me for smoking? I'm sorry. I love that. I love seeing that because
I know.
It's like, but he doesn't even realize how much he's being affected by her. He thinks he's like, oh yeah, I'm really doing this. But really, it's Catherine's game as fucking has him wrapped up. It's like he's like
become possessed by her.
Yeah.
It's so, it's so fascinating. And even like the way every time he tries to interrogate her, she's interrogating him equally. And like, and I said that there weren't big exposition dumps in the dialogue. There's not big dumps, but you learn so much exposition from dialogue, but they're always treating you like you know more than you do. Like they're never walking you through it from A to B. Like I read in your report, instead it's, maybe you went a little too far, Nick, didn't you? And you're like, oh, what does she mean? Like it's constantly drawing you in. The dialogue is always drawing you in, or you're enjoying that kind of like flirty, fucked up back chess game. But yeah.
And when there are exposition dumps, it's done in a context that you, as a reader and a watcher, are completely willing to accept because it's a cop-based mystery whodunit. And so you know you're going to be getting, and like, because literally, the movie is literally a stream of exposition, just done in different ways, shown in different ways.
In such great ways, because if you think about it, the fact that it is like an investigation, it could have very easily have leaned into constant over-the-top monologues, and there's not one monologue in this film.
Wait, there's not.
There's not.
Is there?
Which, no, like that's impressive.
Yeah.
Given the nature, once again, of how many things you're meant to be keeping tabs of.
No, there's not a bit.
And I think it's because Catherine's a character who never has to prove herself. And often I think with monologues, it's a character in a moment where they feel they have to prove something about themselves.
Yeah.
Monologues typically come from that.
True. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that could be for 1,000 different reasons. That could be because you feel heartbroken. I don't just mean that like an interrogation. I literally just mean that like a lot of times in life. And that's true for like, think about an argument. When you're fucking on one, it's because you think you have something you need to prove. Like you got something to prove. I'm going to tell you why you're fucking exactly. Whereas like Catherine is not worried about whether or not you believe her.
You can tell he felt like the baddest bitch when he was writing her.
Oh, like, and you know what? We'll give it to him. She's fucking fun, but yes, 100.
Her dialogue's fucking great. My next is on 7. What's yours?
I have a while until mine, so
okay. I have 7, then 9, then 13.
Girl, keep it going.
Okay, 7. Catherine's character description. It says, Catherine Trammell is 30 years old. She has long blonde hair and a refined, classically beautiful face. She's not knockout gorgeous like Roxy. There is a smoky kind of sensuousness about her. A smoky kind of sensuousness.
I love that, but I also think it's so funny in scripts when people are like, they're not quite as hot as the other. When you're like, it's such a you're never going to hear a woman write that. You're never going to see a woman be like,
absolutely
not as hot as da-da-da. You're just not. It's just never going to happen.
And then you see the casting. Roxy is gorgeous, but Sharon Stone is like, are you kidding me?
But also you're just like,
Sharon Stone is so knocked out fucking gorgeous.
But it also just speaks to like, why are we pitting these, like, why are we having to rely on the hotness in order to make a point? Use other ways to describe. Just she's more butch. Roxy's a little bit more masculine. She's a little bit more of a tomboy, a little more rough around the edges, but like not, or a little more like, you're like, what? What do you fucking mean?
Yeah. It means she's hot, but not hot that hot.
You won't like want to like fuck her right away?
Yeah,
like get the
She's not like traditionally hot, but she's sexy.
And you're also like, and to whom? Like that's so different by every person's measure. Do you know what I mean? There's plenty of people who find the actress who played Roxy prettier than Sharon Stone.
Oh, for sure.
And they wouldn't be right or wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know? It's Lord knows, I have read 6 billion and auditioned for 6 billion things where you're like, okay. My fave though, of course, the OG of all is pretty but doesn't know it. And you're like, oh, kill me, shoot me, I can't.
Doesn't know it. Pages 9 through 11.
Go.
I said, I really enjoy the neo-noir vibe of the writing. The way that we are given exposition about Nick's history of drug use via his police psychologist ex-girlfriend feels pulpy and on the nose, though in a deeply entertaining way. This all comes down to tone. Just like with Catherine's intro, the dialogue is short, saucy, and to the point, allowing us to fall into the intrigue of the story more easily.
Fully agree. That scene is so good where you're like, okay, they have a history. And then that it ends with her saying, I still miss you.
It's so cheesy.
It's cheesy,
hate
but
that button up, but like it's so yeah.
But it does make you. I hate it too, but it does make you go like.
And also in the context of the story, like this is like a bodice ripper beach read story. It is. It just is. This is a 120-page little novella that you just yum yum yum.
Absolutely.
Eat up. And so in the context of it, I'm fully willing to dive into dialogue like that.
It does add a little bit of intrigue because it does make you go like. My assumption was that like. It made me go, oh, what ended their thing is maybe different than what I thought. Because your either thought is like, oh, he broke up with her, period. Or she broke up with him, period. But either way, her saying like, I still miss you, Nick. You're like, and even like his fucking joke about more calluses, like he's been jacking off more. I'm like, spare me that deet. Enough.
Did you notice, now that I'm thinking about penises, did you notice that in Catherine and Nick's first sex scene, you can fully see the silhouette of his boner? Fully. It's like he's like edging down, like she's on the bed and he's like above her. And he like repositions himself and you see.
They say he didn't agree to nudity, so I wonder what.
You see his Douglas. It's a silhouette, but you see the Douglas. And it's a Douglas. Capital D Douglas.
Oh God!
Interesting. So much so that I rewound it and was like, did I just see what I thought I saw? And I did.
He said hello.
But yeah, I liked that. I like that it does play the story in a lot of ways knows exactly what it is. Like this writer and the writer's other movies that we Showgirls, like it's. Although apparently they did think Showgirls was going to be like an Oscar contender kind of film. We should probably do an episode on Showgirls. It's crazy. Anyway, it's like I'm giving this writer the benefit of the doubt, thinking that he's kind of like there's a little bit of like knowing what he's doing. Like he knows he's making a noir. Obviously, he knows that this is going to be very saucy, and he leans into that
fully.
Although I do think, I don't know if he's fully in on it.
I do feel like perchance he thought
joke
it was coming off a little smarter than
I agree.
When really I felt like by the end of the script and film, I was exhausted by the entanglement. I was like, and to be fair, I didn't feel that way for 3/4 of it. I was like, what? Ooh. But the last 10 to 15 minutes, I literally was like this.
Well, yeah. After when he gets in the car, dies at the midpoint, it starts to become sloppy.
But when I started getting annoyed is when Catherine breaks up with Nick and Nick gets in the car with Gus and suddenly Gus is like, I got the roommate. And then also Beth has shared a same office room with the psychologist.
Here we go. I was walking down exposition lane.
It made me go like,
gotta get to the ending.
It pissed me off because I was like, what this script had in its favor was that it was not being cheap with exposition. Yeah. And all of a sudden it felt like it was like, well, fuck it.
Completely fair. Yeah. The ending is it. And then it does. I think it does redeem itself with that ending shot because I think it's just one of the most iconic ending like twists, and it's right there at the very end. Then you end the film with that. I love it. Seeing the ice pick, I love it. But yeah, no, the wrap up is a total mess. And like again, even Beth in that scene, like in the scene before she gets shot. Why are you continuing to keep your hand in your pocket walking towards him?
My notes are screaming. I'm like,
he's pointing a gun at you
now. Yes. And now granted, I think
this is a man who has shot multiple people.
Yes. Yeah.
To the point where it's been questioned if he likes this or not. Never mind.
Yeah, like, and also I did like at least the change that they made for the movie. Okay. I thought I liked this more, but then while I was typing it, I was like, wait, but that's bullshit too. But I think they thought they fixed the script's error, which is in the script, her pockets are empty, which is more insane.
Yes.
It's more insane that she won't remove her hands from her pockets and then there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
The movie, I think they're like, we've got it. It's keys. But you go, why the fuck? Because guess what? The keys sorry, I just hit the mic. The keys make you think that when I'm watching the movie, I go, oh, she's pulling out her keys because they went to the location where she has an office. No, that's not what's happening. No, they went to where did he say it was? Gus says it.
She has office space there.
No, it's 2 different places. They're going where he's saying they're not meeting the roommate at Beth's old office space. They're 2 different places. He just shares it in the same moment.
No, he says that Beth shares has an office in the same building that the psychiatrist for
but they're
Johnny
going to
Boz.
go meet the roommate.
Yeah, the roommate called them and they said meet them there.
But why would the roommate say that they're going to meet at the psych?
It's absolutely sloppy.
But then Beth says, "I'm just here because Gus called me and told me to be here."
Yeah.
None of it.
It's Catherine. Catherine was the one that called both of them and had them go there. But no, it's sloppy. It's sloppy as fuck. You can't you can't look too long. You just gotta enjoy the ride, listen to that great score.
At first I was like, oh, I'm so glad at least they put something in her pocket. But then you were like, and it's like a Bart Simpson keychain that they clearly put earlier in the film so that it had relevance. But what's the relevance?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was like first happy and then even more pissed because I'm like, so you were fingering your keychain while you had a gun at you?
Exactly. Walking
with a dude you know is not.
What's wrong with you? You're gonna get shot.
With a guy that you know has substance abuse issues and is physically violent.
Whose nickname in the precinct is Shooter. Thank you. Anyway.
Anywho's.
Page 13.
Go ahead.
I said, still learning more about Catherine via the police debriefs. It's a nice, it's an exposition dump, but so fun. I love how they set up Catherine's character in a way that's so heightened and alluring. She's a force to be reckoned with, the typical enigma wrapped in a riddle. This script is a great example of every scene pushing the story forward because with a thriller, you don't have time to spend on side tangents generally. It has to be a well-oiled machine purposely built to ensnare your curiosity. This is during the interrogation sequence, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yes. But Nick says, this is when they are giving him the rundown of what they've learned about Catherine. Nick and the other lieutenants are talking. And Nick says, I love it. She's got $100 million. She fucks fighters and rock and roll stars, and she's got a degree in screwing with people's minds. Lieutenant Walker, you forget her degree in literature. She's a writer. She's published a novel last year under a pen name. Do you want to know what it's about? They stare at him. Lieutenant Walker, it's about a retired rock and roller who was murdered by his ex-girlfriend. That's a fun way to get her history. Again, you're primed for it because it's
all
police
natural.
officers
It's all earned.
each
It's
other.
2 people talking. Yep.
Yeah. And I think when you're dealing, especially with a thriller, like I said, when you're dealing with a thriller and you got to get all these expository moments out, you do have a cop in there, it's just such an easy vehicle for it. Obviously,
but they don't abuse it. They don't abuse it though.
Super on the nose dialogue is going to come off as super on the nose no matter what if it's not well executed. But I did like the way that they drip out the exposition with her, because they do that throughout. Because that's the whole kind of crux of this is: did Catherine do it?
Mm-hmm.
Is she innocent or is she just this psychotic genius?
One of my general script notes was in all caps: too many uses of he and she in action without names. There were so many instances where the writer assumes you know who it is. And by the way, it's one thing if we started by going, Nick gets into his car, and then the rest of that block you're saying I don't give a fuck. Yeah. But he wouldn't do that. It would literally be like we would come off of a scene with Nick and like 3 of his like colleagues, and then it would be like exterior the beach, and it would be like he da-da-da. And you're like, you cannot assume that I'm always like that it's always Nick or that it's always there's too many people in this movie. And yes, of course we have leads, but it bothered me because it happened quite a few times. Script babies, do not fucking do that.
Yeah,
don't do it.
The names and then go back and do a
yes,
thing where go back and do a pass where you cut down on some of the names with keeping the context of where everyone is.
To me, if you're going to lean one way or another, I would rather someone lean into using the names a little bit more than not using them enough, because then I'm annoyed and then I'm exhausted. And by the way, if you're doing this 3/4 of the way through a script where there's a lot of characters and I'm supposed to be keeping track of a lot of people, and you're insinuating that I should know who he and she is when you aren't making that very clear, it just takes me out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agreed. And it's funny because my next note is kind of in the vein of that, but in a praising way.
Oh.
So this isn't there. I do agree. There are moments where that's overused, and that's something to very much be aware of with your scripts. But on page 17, he doesn't use a character name and he uses her instead of Catherine's name in a slug line.
Okay.
And I have a fun formatting alert for it. Fun formatting alert. I said the slug line above the scene at Catherine's beach house reads exterior, her house in Stinson, day. I love the use of her house. It gives the reader, it gives the read a bit more personality, almost casual. It gives the read a more personal, almost casual feel, trusting the reader to remember that her is Catherine. Great reminder that you can take some chances in the script, allowing some trust that your reader will keep up. However, it all has to be done mindfully. If that was the only instance of it, I would, yeah. That'd be very fun. Because we did just see her. We only a few pages before we were at the beach house. Yes. We know her beach house, and Stinson is a very specific word.
Yes.
That you'll see in that in the slug line. He says the beach house in Stinson a few times. And then when he says her beach house in Stinson, I just thought that was, it's like,
totally.
I love that trust with the reader, but then that it's trust was abused.
Absolutely.
And then it makes it confusing.
Yes, but I agree. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not someone who's like, I think you need to use the character name every single time. No, that gets exhausting and annoying. I just was like shook by how many times it was happening in this script with so many characters.
Yeah, a lot of unnecessary characters, honestly.
Truly.
Like Lieutenant Walker, why are you here? Page 28 to 29 is my next one.
Okay, go.
I said, I love how Catherine is always playing mind games by weaponizing her sexuality, like in the scene when Nick drives her home after the interrogation. I talked about this earlier. So they're driving home in the rain. Also, when we get to the movie notes, that I love that cinematography. And it's the way that they use lights and shadows and reflections.
Yes.
It's so good. Nick says, how do you know all this stuff about me? Catherine, you know all about me. Nick, I don't know anything that isn't police business. Catherine, you know I don't like to wear any underwear, don't you, Nick? They look at each other a beat. Catherine, thanks for the ride. And then she's out of the car. He watches her as she hurries in the rain, his eyes on her until the moment she opens the door and is inside. I love how she knows she's sexy. She knows she's smarter than him, and she's always fucking playing in his face.
Always.
I love that. I love dialogue.
And boy,
I don't like to wear any underwear. Like, I love it.
And he's such a captive audience.
It's sexy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he's like loving this. And it's so fun.
The scene is in the movie. I think the biggest, I guess this is a little bit of a jump ahead, but the biggest difference in writing to movie was the scene after they have the fuck of the century. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Nick in that scene, I'm like, you need to be hit. Like you are, like when but I'm obsessed with how she responds
to run him over in that car.
The way she responds to everything he says. Yes. I was like, nom. The way she's
always
like
emasculating him in the best way.
Like it was I think it was a good beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
But that scene is infinitely better in the film than in the script. And they did tweak the dialogue there. They're playing more.
So much better in the movie.
It's so much
better.
She
has much more agency.
Way more agency. And like, I even prefer his performance. It's my favorite. I honestly think it might be one of my favorite scenes of the movie. It's so dynamic. Yeah. Like they're so, like he's riding a high now because he's like, I fucked her. I finally did it. I did it. And it was incredible. And now I think I have ownership over all these other things. But he also, I think he feels like he can like play the game with her more.
He thinks he's still a step ahead of her.
And
that's
she's
when
like,
he says like, oh, he's like, I'm going to nail you for this. She's like, oh, you still think I kill people? She's like, I don't know. And he's like, but I'm going to still nail you anyway.
Yeah.
Like I'm still going to pin this.
And she's like, you're going to fall in love with me. He's like, I already have, but I'm still like, I'm still going to. Yeah. It's so.
That's in the movie script.
That's in the movie. It's not in the script. It's so good. It's so, so good. But I love the way she just keeps going like.
Page is that on? I would like to. It'd be fun to read that out.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Go to your next one.
My next one's at 37, and my last one's on 62.
Okay.
You
know, one thing that annoyed me though too is like I wish we would have been given what's missing in almost all of the characters, although you never could have given it for everyone. But like what I wish they would have given Beth so that she felt slightly less like a vehicle was I wish they would have given us a sliver of something in Nick that made us understand why she kept giving him chances and why she felt the way that she did about him, because we never see him be anything other than like benign towards her.
Yeah.
Other than raping her. Like it's like, then it's hatred. Like it's like this weird
about their history.
In a way that I'm
and
like,
again, Beth is just a fucking vehicle.
And
I
wish that we could have seen some moment of sincerity between her and Nick, where you could at least go like, oh, he plays the game with her just enough to keep getting what he wants. But instead it just makes Beth look even more kind of like this like pathetic, desperate woman who will do anything for him.
Doormat.
When I think it would have been a more interesting choice where you still would have been frustrated with Beth, but you would have been like, but I can kind of see why she keeps getting sucked in with this guy, but you never understand why.
No.
He's
unlikable and he's not very attractive. Sorry, I said it. The fact that Michael Douglas was this huge, like, steamy, like, love interest is hilarious to me. The 80s were and the 90s were a wild time. Not that he's unattractive. He has his own little vibe, but it's very intriguing. The beach scene starts on page 65.
Okay.
I'll just read some of the dialogue for the script babies. Nick says, "Morning. I think Roxy got jealous. Catherine, she's seen me fuck plenty of other guys. Nick, maybe she saw something she didn't see before. She's seen everything before. She's never seen us before. Catherine, did you think it was so special? Nick, I told her it was the fuck of the century. Nick, what did you think? Catherine, I think it was a pretty good beginning. Nick, how about Roxy? Is she the fuck of the century too? Catherine, do you want her to join us sometime? Nick, I didn't mean for me. I meant for you. Catherine, I'm not as judgmental about women as I am about men. Nick, how's your shoulder? Fine. How's your back? It hurts. Catherine, we're alike, you know. Nick, are you kidding? You think this was my idea of the morning after conversation? Catherine, do you want personal insights and adolescent secrets? I don't do those. Nick, you mean getting inside you isn't going to get me any deeper into your character? Catherine, not unless you confuse my character with my body parts. Catherine, were you frightened, Nikki? Nick, I thought that business with the scarf was pretty nifty. Catherine, I told you I have a vivid imagination. I shouldn't play this game. You shouldn't play this game. Nick, I don't have a choice. Catherine, you're in over your head. Nick, I know. Catherine, I've got a book to write. I'll see you around, shooter. So
it's just not as dynamic. Like one of my favorite shifts is when she says, "Were you frightened, Nikki?" And he goes, "Wasn't that the point?"
Yeah.
Like in the movie, it's so much more dynamic because it is him seeing in her a little bit of her game. Like it's very small, but it is an acknowledgement of him saying that was the point. Was you were trying to scare me and I clocked it, which I did like because it felt like there was a moment where he kind of did see her quite clearly.
Yeah.
So again, it's all these subtext, unspoken things, but God, it was so much more dynamic in the film.
It is.
So much more dynamic.
So much better. Page 37, it said, beautiful action here after Nick follows Catherine back to her beach house after she went to Hazel Dobkin's house. It says...
What is the deal with Hazel, by the way?
So Hazel, from what I've gathered from my different research, because I always, again, she could not be in the film and it's fine. She's just a show. She's just to confuse the people with... she's just to confuse the reader and the writer and the viewers as to Catherine's motives once again. But ultimately, Hazel is supposed to be another potential murderer for who killed Johnny Boz. Because I
didn't consider that for 3 seconds.
Never have I considered that either.
She honestly is one of the weakest points of the film.
Do like a kind of breakdown of the movie, and they thought that Hazel was supposed to be another whodunit, like she may have done it because she feels protective over Catherine. And I was like, that's a stretch.
That's a huge stretch. I feel like
for me, Hazel is just another thing to show when you see the twist at the end, that what you assumed about Catherine all along was correct. And B, on the other hand, like when you don't know the twist, she's a vehicle.
But are we insinuating that murderers like to be friends?
Yeah, Catherine is. That's the thing with the murderers in this is that it's not, they don't murder for a reason. They murder because they have to. Murderers are murderers because murderers are just murderers.
But I'm like,
they're just crazy people who get off on it and they like it and they just got to do it.
Hazel for me really took
notice
me
that
out.
Every single person when they murder them, like Catherine's murdering people just because that's what she does. Hazel murdered her family. They don't know why. She just woke up one day and murdered it. Roxy murdered her brothers and sister. They give her a little bit of reason. Oh, she didn't like, not being the center of attention. But even then, they never tell you more. And then Nick, he's shooting people, but we don't know if it's an accident or if he just does that because he likes the homicidal impulse.
Right, and then his wife kills herself. It's like a lot of...
It takes...
But to me, it was actually so weak that all the women in this all kill because they have to. Like, that's actually fucking boring. It would be way more interesting if you had some diversity in the things that were pushing them. But Hazel, for me, was like a non-starter. I was like... Because then when she breaks up with Nick, you're like... There's like a weird moment where you're like, are you fucking her too? Where she's like... She's like, Catherine, and like...
Nice. Oh, you're the shooter.
Yeah, I hate the Hazel storyline for me. I really was like, this movie would have been better without it. For
it gives nothing
because it just, to me, it actually felt like it cheapened it by being like, she's friends with another murderer. That must mean she's a murderer, or maybe she just likes murder. Like
she's literally just a vehicle for intrigue.
I don't
just
like
makes
her
you more
at all.
intrigued. It makes you wonder, like, what's Hazel's story? What's the connection here with her?
And yet, I did not give a fuck. That was truly the common denominator. If I had to boil it down to one, and that's one of my Daddy Jones. It's like, I just did not give a fuck about any of these people.
Fair.
I had fun with Sharon. I had fun with, with Catherine, but I just didn't give a fuck about them.
And even then, we don't really know who Catherine is or why.
And none of them are good people, by the way.
No.
And by the way, I've watched plenty of things where someone's not a good person and I'm still captivated. But when no one's a good person, it's like you start to get kind of like...
The only good person, Beth, is just a complete shell of a person who's just there to serve Nick's whims and to push his story forward. Anyway, on page 37, this is what it reads after he drives back. It says, he pulls his car up to her house at Stinson Beach. The black Ferrari is in the driveway. A light goes on in an upstairs bedroom. The curtain is drawn. He sees the outline of her body now. She starts to take her clothes off. There in the window behind the curtain, he watches her body as she does an almost languorous strip. Languorous strip. His eyes are intense, ravishing. I really liked that.
So good.
My last is on page 62.
Go. I have like 2 after that.
Page 62. I said, I love this action in the club scene when Nick and Catherine are dancing. It's way sexier in the script than it is in the movie script.
Yeah.
Movie. And also, so when you were talking about claustrophobic sequences, I'd never clocked that in this film, but then the first thing that my mind went to was the club scene feels very claustrophobic to me.
Yes.
The crowd crush of it all, just everyone being everywhere, very lascivious. But so if you've seen the movie, if you haven't, whatever, you know, when they're in the club, he goes and meets Catherine at the club. He sees her. She's dancing with Roxy. He's trying to get in there. And then finally he goes up and starts dancing. And that's just like their chemistry.
And they just start fucking
all over each other. So in the movie, they just like dance up on each other and start making out. And Roxy's pissed watching from the side. In the script, this is what happens. It says, he holds her by the back of the neck, kissing her. Their bodies pressed into each other. His hands are on her butt now, pulling her into him, almost holding her up now. And then under her skirt, under her panties, as he kisses her neck, people around them stare. He moves his hands under her top as she keeps moving with the song, her head back, her back almost arching. Cups her breasts now. She keeps moving, the song sweeping them into its rhythm. There's a lot of, this is an aside, there's a lot of Rolling Stone music references.
The whole script is like a runner of the Rolling Stones.
During this club scene, where it's supposed to be, you know, a string of Rolling Stone songs, which just would have been so
weird.
Odd. Anyway, it says, she keeps moving, the song sweeping them into its rhythm. It's just a shot away. It's just a kiss away, a kiss away. They devour each other right there on the floor, barely able to hold it back, as Roxy watches expressionless as people stop dancing and stare. In the script, there's a character called Tex that they put in there that you never see before, but it's in the action. That clearly just was one of the things.
Or do you think that was when it was Rex? Because there's also like
maybe.
Like
yeah.
But I have to just for 2 seconds, in the movie, Roxy, the way she's dancing when she's watching that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so jerky.
I had to pause. It's literally like, it's so egregious. She is like a chicken with a bobbing fucking head. And she's like doing that like, I'm mad. Oh, it's so cheesy. Yeah, no, the script is a whole, I picture them like fucking on the dance floor. And then the movie, it's kind of like,
There's the longest sex scenes I've ever read in the script. There's like at least 3-page sex scene.
The first sex scene's way too long. I literally, one of my notes was like for the movie is that the sex scene in the beginning of the film is perfectly paced.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're reading it, you're like, okay, is that a lot? Page 64, I was screaming at this descriptor. I actually kind of want this on a t-shirt. She wears a black motorcycle jacket, a very short skirt, stiletto heels. Her hair is up. Her makeup is severe. In the darkness, in the shadows, she looks about 19. A hot 19. A hot, flash, trash 19. It's like slam poetry.
A
hot 19. A hot, flash, trash 19. Ridiculous. Then I had 2 Gus dialogues that I was like, let's hear it for Gus and his unhinged dialogue. Page 72, loud. I don't give a flying chili bean fart about AIDS is a sentence that should never have been written.
And it doesn't make it to the movie.
He's got enough like unhinged dialogue in the film, but
ain't nobody gonna drive my Cadillac car. Like Haas.
I cannot. And then his next one.
Chili bean fart about AIDS.
Okay.
A lot of people do, Gus.
A lot of people do, Gus. Page 96, my last note is Gus, after a beat quietly, you got goddamn Tweety birds fluttering around your head. That's what you got. You think you're going to fuck like minks, raise rugrats, and live happily ever after? Oh, man. And that is in the movie. They use it like twice with the like.
Another one that's on this page that is also in the movie that makes me laugh is when he goes, it's because she's got that magna cum laude pussy on that's done fried up your brain.
It's like, what does that even actually mean?
She's just so smart. I just can't. It's
like a runner. They do it twice, I believe, in the script and in the movie with the you think you're gonna fuck like Manx, raise rugrats, and live. That's like then he says to her, maybe we'll fuck like Manx. And
I don't like rugrats.
And I'm like, oh, they really thought they ate with that one.
Oh, yeah.
Like a fuck like Minx, raise rugrats, and live happily. That doesn't even flow. Like
it
what?
Doesn't. It's just that kind of schlocky noir dialogue. That there's a lot of that kind of noir leaning stuff. That's
and
like
some of it works, but
some of it does work. It mostly only works for Catherine.
Yes.
Catherine has a shit ton of that kind of dialogue.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
Where there are lines that Jennifer gets away with because the character, you so believe this to be true about who she is.
Yeah.
That like she gets away with dialogue that anyone else wouldn't because they've done the homework to make you just believe that Jennifer's the type of person that would say shit like that. It's very similar with Catherine. You just believe she would say a lot of that shit. And the performance is so good that you really believe she would say that kind of shit.
Yeah, she's the only character on the page that really feels in control of herself because honestly, she is.
She is.
She's the only character that has control over her narrative and is doing what she wants.
100%.
Which I guess is kind of the point. She's always pulling the strings.
True. That's it.
That's it for my notes too.
Yeah, my movie notes.
Before we get into movie notes, I have questions for you.
Okay, what?
So there were questions that kept coming up as I was reading and watching.
Okay.
And I really wanted to ask them. I have 3.
Ask me.
I still don't know how I feel about some of these.
Okay.
Do you think Nick has a history of shooting people because he likes killing people like Catherine implies? Or is it just under the circumstances?
I think he's one of those people who it's in a gray area where he does not consciously know that he does, but because they insinuate that it's happened multiple times and then the drug stuff and the way that Nick carries himself makes me think and how from meeting Catherine, he then goes and rapes someone he supposedly cares about makes me go, he seems like the type of man that justifies everything and would not look in the mirror or admit to another person that did it on purpose or even himself. But there is some part of him that is partaking or was partaking more than he should have, and then maybe had. One of my thoughts was, why are they trying so hard to keep this guy part of the fucking force?
Well, that's real though.
No, it is real. I did have that next thought. I was like, well, that is real. But for the sake of the movie, it did feel a little bit like,
yeah,
because it also felt like Nilsson was trying so hard to fire him that it was like you could have fired him easily.
But they just put him on leave.
So I think it's like in the middle. I think subconsciously, yes, but I don't think. I think juxtaposed up against someone like Catherine, who knows she likes killing, like in like all that stuff. No, I don't think he's even remotely in the same room as her. I just think he's more one of those people that's like,
Yeah, I think it's there. He doesn't realize it, but Catherine spots it immediately.
Yep.
Because she, you know, curates that kind of
Birds
crowd.
of a feather. The hoedown version.
Do you think Nick knows Catherine is the real killer, but overlooks it because he's so attracted to her and the danger of it all?
I think that it doesn't matter enough.
This before.
What?
I never asked this question before. I never thought this while watching it, but I think now watching it again, I think he does know, especially that scene on the beach where he's like, she's like, you love me now. He's like, I do, but I'm going to still nail you anyway.
And yet I think the more important question is, does he care? And I don't think he does care.
No, I don't think he cares at all. That's why he just likes that he's gotten this.
Yeah.
He knows she did it, and he
I
likes
think
the
he's
danger
pretty
of it all.
certain.
He just doesn't think she'd kill
I think he's
him.
pretty certain that she did it, but would also be happy to be proven wrong, but also doesn't care if she did, which is
terrifying,
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And also would speak to his psyche and the type of person who has also killed other people and perhaps takes comfort in the fact that he is with someone who happily does it.
Yeah. Last question. Why doesn't Catherine kill him at the end? Is it because she knows Nick is a natural born killer like her, or that she's finally met her match?
I think I have two answers. One, my assumption is she kills him a week later.
Ooh.
When she gets bored with him. I think she gets bored. I think she's having fun with him right now, but my assumption is that he does die soon. When she gets more bored. But my other thought would be, maybe this is the first male she's been with that, while he is not openly a killer, has killed. She can see in him something in you is the same that's in me. And she's intrigued in a selfish way by the idea of being with someone male, because she's already been with women who have that. So but I really think she kills him within a couple weeks. What do you think?
That. I think we're supposed to think it's because despite all the odds, she's found love.
Which I don't think it speaks to the writing.
I don't think she loves him.
No.
I don't know exactly how I feel with that question. I think she likes that she kind of knows he knows that she did it and isn't afraid of that.
Yeah.
And she likes the thrill. Like,
I like that.
That's a thrill.
I like that.
But like, I could still maybe, because even at the end, before the final sex scene at the end with the reveal of the ice pick, she's in his apartment. She's crying. She's like, I don't want to do this. I lose everybody I love. I can't do this. I'm getting too close. I don't want to do this. And it's supposed to, on the surface, we're supposed to think that she's like afraid because everyone she loves gets brutally murdered somehow, and that it wasn't me that did it, but really it's her being like, I'm going to kill you. And for the first time, I'm actually feeling something with someone that I've gotten involved with.
Yep.
I don't want to have to kill you.
Yes.
And that is then proven or confirmed for me, at least, when we see the ice pick. Because I guess there are still people who think that the ice pick being down there doesn't necessarily indicate that she's the killer. And I'm like, oh, it's the entire point.
Brain rot is real. I'm realizing a lot of my movie notes we already talked about, but okay, one thing I said is, how is Nick allowed to sleep with his therapist? They all know. They all are like, oh, he stopped sleeping with Beth.
Yeah, that is a conflict of fucking interest. And then you continue to, you put him back with her?
Again, and I know that there just were so many things about him and Beth where I was like, and also, like I said, them working this, Nilsson seemed to hate Nick and yet was still allowing Nick to stay.
Yeah.
But they also all knew he was sleeping with his therapist.
It's crazy. God, my scores were really high for this.
But that's okay, because it just reflects sometimes you like stuff.
Just that I like it. But really getting into it, the storytelling is quite sloppy.
I'm looking at this and truly, I'm looking at this and we have talked about a lot of my movie notes, so this will be brief on my end. But girl, Beth's reason for her name change,
I know,
is the weakest.
My husband called me Beth. Your name's Lisa.
Why the fuck would your husband call you Beth?
Why
when your name is Lisa? The last name thing, it'd be one thing if she was like Beth Cobblestone. Sure. I don't know.
Beth Cobblestone.
That wouldn't be a giveaway at all. Actually, I would have loved if it would have been like a really obviously horrible
Beth Cobblestone.
Beth Gingerbread.
Yeah.
I was like, literally like, Kay, your name was Lisa. Why the fuck would he call you Beth? Like, and she does it so like, and then like he just buys it where I was like,
yeah. There's a lot of points in this movie, in the script.
But then what do you think Beth's role is?
Like in general,
yes.
She's literally just a vehicle.
No, but I'm saying, like, did she kill someone? Why did she change her? That's such a bad lie.
Beth is telling the truth when it was Catherine that became obsessed with her. Beth is telling the truth the whole time. And then she's maligned and she's made the red herring.
But then
Catherine's just so smart and.
But then what is your take on when the cop at the other station that Nick goes to see while the guy's like washing the car? I don't know why that cracked me up. Something about seeing a police officer washing their car cracked me up. And also no small parts because I was like, that dude ate that scene up. Like I was like, good for you.
When they had his file.
When he says the girlfriend thing about Beth.
Yeah.
Why would he say that if that wasn't true? Because Nilsson was the one there, not Catherine. Nilsson was looking into it, but maybe, are we supposed to believe Catherine killed Beth's husband?
I think so.
Okay. So then
Catherine's crazy and obsessed.
So then maybe Beth, Catherine started the rumor that Beth had a girlfriend then, I guess.
She got shot. Yeah.
Because remember he says the girlfriend and then Nick goes, honestly, his, and he goes, no, hers.
It's anyone's guess. And that's at the ending. Past the midpoint up to the ending, it is so fucking sloppy. Like the fact that we aren't able to really parse through what any of that is. And like, yeah, it adds intrigue in the sense that like the mystery is heightened because you don't know what the fuck is going on, but not from a place of empowerment.
No. Yes, that's perfectly said.
It's just.
It made me feel stupid until I reread the part of the script and the movie and I went, no, like this isn't adding up.
Crossing wires for the sake of crossing. Yes. Exactly. It doesn't add up.
And that was one of my daddy don'ts is like, this is both finding it in the wild because you said it better than me, but literally my daddy don't was like, don't make it messier than you need to. But actually what you just said is better because it's more specific. Don't cross wires. It's not even about like making it messier or whatever. Don't cross more wires than you freaking need to because it took away from it. Like it didn't need all of that. You have exhaustion by the time all these things are going on. And then even if you follow a wire, it doesn't totally make sense.
Yeah.
Or I'm having to make so many assumptions. And we've talked about this in the past. You're allowed to have a couple moments where I'm filling in the gaps, but I should be able to fill in the gaps pretty easily and have it work. Whereas with this, we've come up with like 5 things where we're like, well.
Yeah. And it's open-ended, but not in the way that keeps the conversation going and makes you mull it over. It's open-ended in the way that's like, literally, what does that mean? What's the point of that?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I never, all the times I've watched this movie over the years, I had never clued into those moments, and that's super sloppy because you're so caught up in the vibe of this movie,
and the emotion
that like
of it.
It's like, what is that? What does that mean? Is it her? And like they're painting Beth as the bad guy so heavy, like she's such a red herring in this. That like it's literally all that dialogue. It's all just a vehicle to make us our perception like on Beth, without following or seeing it through because she's gonna die a few pages later, and the writer's like, I don't have to,
and she's gonna die for no fucking reason.
She dies actually because she's a fucking stupid. Why are you walking towards a person who's saying, I'm gonna shoot you? I have
with
a gun
your hand in your pocket.
She's got one in her pocket, and the other one's gonna get shot. In the movie notes, I like in the car. This is also in the lead up to where, actually no, that's not that point. Anyway, this is when they after the interrogation scene, they do the lie detector test on Catherine. Because she's like, do you want to do a lie detector test on me? And they're like, yeah. And then she passes it with flying colors. And they're like, either she's telling the truth or I've never met anyone like her. And Nick says he knows. He's like, no, she's lying. And they're like, how do you know you can't beat the machine or whatever? And he says, well, that's not true because I know people who have done it. Clearly, the implication is he's the person that did it. Because right after that, in the scene where he's driving her home in the rain, and she says the whole thing of like, I don't like to wear underwear. He says to her like, she's like, oh, I'm tired. And he's like, oh yeah, it must be tired work, fooling a lie detector machine. And then she says to him, well, didn't you have to do one after your investigation? I like that. It's another thing I never fully picked up on that. Like, I was like, yeah, Nick is killing people because he likes to. And he's psychopathic too, because he's able to turn all those things off in him and beat this lie detector test. So now that we're talking about that car scene again, I die for the lighting in that scene when he's dropping her off and the rain's pouring down. The light is shining through the front windshield and it's reflecting that gorgeous water pattern on their face. And it adds, and you have that fucking great scoring. And it's just them being sexy together, talking about these things. She's fucking playing with him, like, oh yeah, I don't like wearing underwear and all these things. Like, and he doesn't want her to leave. And it's just like there's this tension there that is set up so well by the score and the lighting.
Yeah,
and there's so many. That's another Hitchcockian thing that he does is his use of weird, kind of discordant shadows and lighting to kind of make you get this off kilter moment. Yeah. It's a really nice combination to have the visual cues being off-putting while having this kind of sensuous leading music. That's just, this film really is a vibe for me. The film is the vibe.
But to be fair, I think that is its strongest suit, is the vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I literally was shook.
And
even by the opening intro of the geometric shapes with that noir music as we're starting the film. Yeah. I thought to myself, this is arguably the best way to set a tone to go into this because it really added, what is that word? Legitimacy to it. Like it made you go like it added to the vibe. It was like, it set the vibe.
Yeah.
And then the music made good on it and the cinematography made good on it and the performances then were good enough and all of that. But I think that's what is so missing in the script is that you have the energy of the hunt, but the vibe is not really there.
Yeah.
But the movie is a vibe.
It totally is. I love that score. The strings and that opening sequence.
I am so going to drive in the freaking rain with that score.
And when it rains next week, you got to try it out. I'm telling you. It's a little ritual
Script
that
Daddies, we have a challenge for you. It's called the Basic Instinct Rain Challenge.
Yeah.
And what you're going to do is
don't film yourself
while you're driving because that's illegal.
Actually do that. And tag us. I want to see the videos.
Park your car. Put your camera up, let the rain fall down.
And let that score just wash over you, baby. And feel like you are a noir detective in 1940s Los Angeles driving around.
Gorgeous, sexy.
Gorge.
We love.
We've talked about this already. The rape scene with Beth is so fucking crazy. And here's
horrific.
Here's the thing where I'm like, E-oo alert. E-oo alert.
It's horrific.
Verhoeven has so many movies where rape is like a big, like Elle, the movie Elle is all about this woman getting to this cat and mouse game of trying to figure out who raped her. But then like, there's kind of this vibe of like she kind of enjoys it at a certain point.
I need men to never be the people to explore something.
Elle as a movie is, it's a good movie where it's a fucking crazy movie. But I mean, it is a good movie, but like that, and then Showgirls, there's a really brutal rape sequence in that. And like, he just has this, and that Showgirls is also written by Esther Haas. Esther Haas has a thing with sex workers and brutalizing women, and it's weird. It's creepy,
like that. That really
and
is.
It's major EU vibes. That's just a little side note. I love the scene where Catherine is using the ice pick to break up the ice. And she's like, he's like, what, you got something against ice cubes? And she goes, I like rough edges. Another example of that noir, like syrupy, kind of almost schlocky dialogue that in this context
totally works.
Absolutely. I like rough edges. And with her sultry voice.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone has a voice on her, bitch.
Oh, and
I died.
She absolutely does. And they also dressed her so good in this.
Her
outfits are.
Her outfits? Girl. The interrogation scene outfit, the fucking shawl neck sweaters that she has.
They're all like effortlessly sexy. Her body is banging. It's like, get it. You better let Michael Douglas lick that boo-boo.
You better. I would actually love to be Catherine Trammell for a day. I would love to know what it feels like
without the murder. You want to know? Okay.
I want to know what it's like to know that you've gotten away with all this. You're super smart. You're crazy fucking rich. You can do whatever you want. Kind of that God complex. I don't want to live in it. I just want to experience it for a day just to see what that would feel like. Is it as empowering as you think it is, or is it like deeply troubling and scary? But
well, if it was us, we would be troubled because of us. But if we were never,
I would be haunted for the rest of my days.
Unless they were threatening my child, then I would in a heartbeat.
Oh,
but whenever I've heard people be like, when they're like, "Would you like for your?" and you're like, "Oh, yeah.
I would for my dog."
Yeah,
sorry. But yeah, no, that's actually a crazy thing that I just said, but I will stand by it. I would love. Like,
I don't want to be Catherine. I don't want to
be her. I want to know what it's like to be her just for a day.
Fair. I don't want to. I don't want to know what it's like to be anyone in this movie.
She just seems like she has so much fun.
She does. She's is having the best time.
Having a great time.
No, she is absolutely having a party.
What does that feel like? To go and just do a line of cocaine in the middle of the day, drink some Jack Daniels, and think about how you're going to kill this cop. It's a crazy sentence that just came out of my mouth.
One of mine was, I like the choice in the film to add that when he enters Catherine's home after talking to the cop who he discussed Beth Gardner's husband's death with, he holds up the book cover that says "Shooter," his nickname from her, like that. At work, but also that.
With him in that way
oh
too,
my god, he's like, please don't call me that.
Runner
was like Shooter.
So great.
But then we see a tight shot of a line from the book that is the literal description of how his partner Gus later dies. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that.
Girl, go back.
Shut up.
It's not in the script, but it's in the movie. It literally says like his partner shot in the elevator or whatever. Yeah.
Stop.
So good. I freaked out.
I love it.
So good. So good. Such a smart choice. Because it's like obviously even more showing that she's the killer, but it's fun because you're like, she's having so much fun with this.
Yeah.
That she's literally going, this is like my 5th time writing a murder and then doing it. Like, beep, bop, beep, bop, beep, bop, bop.
I have never clocked that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Go back and alert.
That's so fun.
My honest last one, because like I said, we talked about some of these, was that the end of the script, after Catherine breaks up with him and Nick's in the car with Gus, and Gus suddenly is lit up about finding Lisa, aka Beth's roommate, and then Beth sharing an office building with Johnny Boz's therapist in the same moment. I was like, this is bullshit. The main thing this script had going for it just went out the fucking window.
Really,
and also the randomness of Nick deciding to go into the building when all of a sudden he's like,
literally, he just looks at the building and then all of a sudden like, Gus! And
it's like that in the script too. And I'm like, no.
But we never have any moments of him having like a premonition of something and his suspicions being correct like that. He's actually a kind of an awful cop.
A horrible cop. Like all he wants to do is fuck the girl. He's a terrible cop. I don't even think he's trying to learn anything. I think he's just trying to like fuck her.
The ending is so fucking sloppy. I love the line where Catherine says, "Killing isn't like smoking. You can quit." I said it's a really great femme fatale line because it's another. It's almost like another veiled confession on Catherine's part, but worded just so that it's open to interpretation. I love when dialogue pushes the tone even more to the forefront because it's kind of a double entendre.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's like, what is she talking about?
Totally.
The smoking or the killing?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
And then it's one of the cheesiest moments in the movie. But when Beth is talking with Nick and she's explaining that like why she didn't tell him that she knew her in college and all this stuff or whatever. And she's like, well, no, she was obsessed with me. And he's like, well, she said something different. She said that you're the one that was obsessed with her, blah, blah, blah. And then they get in this kind of argument. Nick storms off. He's going down the hallway and she runs out after him. And she goes, she's evil. She's brilliant.
Beth is like still low key, like, I'd kiss her.
Such a cheesy part.
Like
but like I love it because it's so fitting. Cheesy.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you notice that when Gus is crossing the street into the office building, he's crossing the street and then a red pickup truck comes at him and it looks like he's going to get hit by this truck, but then actually he's further beyond it and the truck goes.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I never clocked it, but I like that. That's a fun kind of foreshadowing that something bad's going to happen to Gus there.
Oh, I like that too.
Which is fun.
I didn't notice that.
And then just my last one is that the ending shot is just so fucking iconic. I love that reveal that the ice pick is under the bed. And like, because we're always leaning out, like she kind of leans over at one point. We don't know if she's grabbing it. And then she goes back on him and they just start having sex again. They can't keep keep their hands off each other. Then it fades to black. Then we fade back in, and we not pan down. We tilt down, and we see
there she is.
And we know. We know.
What are your
Catherine did it?
What are your daddy does?
Okay, let's see. I have 2.
I have 3.
Okay. Daddy do number 1. Daddy do hone your characters and world to better support exposition dumps. This movie is a whodunit thriller centered on a police investigation, so exposition dumps are going to be a central focus. However, the tone, world, and character building that's done within the first 15 pages is effective, and you're happy to read longer paragraphs of exposition, even though we did say there aren't really big paragraphs.
Right.
You're happy to read longer paragraphs of exposition because it's providing answers to information gaps while creating new ones. This is exposition when done that way, which this film doesn't fully do it. I'm going to amend my daddy do as I'm saying it. When executed perfectly, that's exposition executed at its highest capacity. When you have real intrigue on the page, the exposition that comes from it is not only necessary, it's delicious. And that's the thing. A lot of the exposition comes from the intrigue and comes from the mystery of it all. It does fall apart towards the end, but he does build a world that's fun to be in and fun to witness.
Absolutely. Absolutely, positively.
Daddy do number 2. Daddy do utilize dramatic echoes when it fits the tone of your story. This script uses a lot of plant and payoff callbacks to previous dialogue and scenarios. One character will say the exact same line of dialogue or perform the exact same action as another did in earlier pages, heightening the dramatic irony, tension, and overall salacious tone of the story. It's tropey in a good way. When you're working within the world of a thriller, especially a neo-noir thriller, tropes can be your best friend when executed in a way that's not cheesy. And this film does it. It's cheesy,
but it knows.
But it works.
But it works. Yeah.
Like
because it's tonally accurate.
Like the callback to him being like, what, like, because when she's being interrogated, and she says, you can't smoke it. And you're just like, what are you going to do? Charge me with smoking? And then he says that exactly when he's being interrogated. And it works in the tone, in the context of,
100%.
A story that's totally like this. What are yours?
100%. Mine, I'm realizing I kind of made these points already, so I'll be brief in it. My first daddy do is find juicy ways to explore exposition. It's one of the strongest suits of it. The exposition in this film matches the sexy tone of it a lot of times. We find out the most about Nick's past through Catherine. When he's meant to be the one asking her the questions, she keeps pushing him with her own, offering the audience so much more context to his past in a very genre-specific way. Like, it kind of twists it, but it just works. And I really, to me, that is the strongest suit of the film. Do have fun with your characters. Catherine is so juicy and such a fun fucking character to read, and she knows exactly who the fuck she is. And again, it reminds me a little bit of Jennifer's Body, where it was like that script had its own thing, but my favorite thing about that script was like Jennifer knows exactly who Jennifer is, and it made for the most delicious read of Jennifer.
Loves who Jennifer is.
Jennifer loves who
Catherine
she is.
knows who she is, and she fucking loves it.
And the clarity of a character being that clear allows the right actress to find it and then add to it. It makes it easier to make a match like that. And lastly, my last daddy do was, I kind of already said this already, but look for even micro ways for me to connect or care at least a little bit for one or two of our leads. While I enjoyed the ride of this film, I noticed after and in the days that followed, nothing really stuck with me about it because I didn't really care about anything that happened to any of them. We only really saw them behaving recklessly, selfishly, obsessively, self-serving. And while we all have aspects of those things in us in varying degrees, if we can also show some other aspects that allow our minds to try to redeem them of those behaviors a little bit, we usually care a little bit more. Not once when someone died in the film, even Gus, did I feel literally anything. Beth was shocking, but even then it fell flat as more of a plot point than a pain point. We also never got to see why Beth was endlessly willing to love him and want him.
Yeah.
Now, again, this movie, I think it's like, in some ways it's okay, like that it doesn't do that, but I did find myself going like, I'm not saying any of them had to be good people, but I think there's that part of us, like even with villains, like historically with villains in films and in TV, where like, even if you hate them, there's still a tiny part of you that can like see their perspective.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of struggled to see their perspectives because I'm not a psychopathic murderer. And with Beth, she was so one note that even that was like, give me a reason. a tiny smidge.
Even if it's that he has some dirt on her that she,
something.
you know, or like that there's this history of him, you know, emotionally manipulating
or
her.
that behind closed doors we see a moment where he like love bombs her for a second and you're like that still allows him to be who he is, which is a bad guy, but it allows us to understand that Beth is still trying to make him be this other thing. Which
actually, if they had done that, a love bombing thing right after the rape sequence, it actually would have justified that, because it would have shown Nick is gross. Obviously, Nick's gross, but
it wouldn't have justified the rape. It would have justified. No. Right. I know you didn't mean that, but I was like, I'm just saying. It would have justified
having that in the story, because it would have shown how Beth is brutalized by him, but then manipulated emotionally by him, and it would have given us more context into Nick. And like what
and her,
and that he's truly exactly
and her, because then you get to go like a lot of times like with women like when they are love bombed like that, and it makes it so much more confusing. But he gives her nothing other than and then he yells at her.
Yeah,
it's so that I just kept thinking like I knew we weren't going to get it from Catherine, and I didn't need it from Catherine because she was so fun that I didn't care that she was missing a link for me. But I really felt like it was a missed opportunity with Beth and with Nick to not give and I mean it, a micro something that made me want to try to redeem them, even if I knew they weren't good people.
Yeah.
Those are my daddy do's. What are your daddy don'ts?
I have one daddy don't.
Okay, well,
even though this whole episode is full of other daddy don'ts.
Yes, fair.
Daddy, don't use the exact same descriptors too many times. Particularly in the last 10 pages, the writer describes Nick as a zombie about 4 times in a row, thoroughly in a row through subsequent scenes.
You're right.
While this is a minor note, it's a good reminder to switch up your vocabulary on the page to keep it fresh.
Yes. Oh my, it's so funny you said, because I actually did note that. I was like, ew, they keep using zombie.
Like, okay.
Enough. Daddy, don't continuously start action with he or she when it's not abundantly obvious who you're referencing. On page 38, we have 4 different men talking, and then the next slug line is just the descriptor of he. But it happens multiple times, and it's lazy and difficult for no reason. And lastly, I already said this, but I said don't tangle the web further than you need to. But really, it's better what you said. Don't cross more wires than you need to, because it gives the false impression that it's really smart. But then when you take the time to start picking it apart, it's not really smart. It's messy and for no reason.
Yeah, it's messy when you could have had even better intrigue had you had wires being crossed, but purposefully.
Yep.
Yeah, with full agency, baby.
So that's Basic Instinct.
That is Basic Instinct, and my scores are high.
Who cares? You like the movie, you should.
My movie score, I stand by.
Yes.
The script score is a little crazy. But I had fun reading it. I don't necessarily recommend this film unless you really love the movie and want to see it. But
if you were to read it, though, I think I would focus on the exposition and the fun they had with Catherine.
Yeah. Catherine is the reason for the season.
She's the reason.
Sharon Stone, we love you.
Yes, we do.
Wow.
And if you're watching or listening, go check out our merch. Check out the merch. Wear the merch while you do the Basic Instinct Rain Challenge.
Actually, I would love that. That would bring me so much joy.
Love that. Maybe we should really double down on this when we air it. We might need to. Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, damn, that was really like one clap.